Hey, Tissa Girls. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, what it do, what it do, what it do. Come on in. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. ODT. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. So, he spoke, scripted speech, not being honest, not telling the truth, faking the funk, blaming everybody except the right people, not wanting folk to know that when old Charlie Kirk started having legitimate questions behind about Putin, not Putin, Israel, BB questioning Epstein files, that it was going to either be him or Charlie. That's bottom line. You know, folk may not want to admit it or not, but the bottom line, that it was going to either have to be Charlie, his chosen one, the one who he could get to say things that politically he couldn't say, use him as if he was in office, although he wasn't in office. Yeah. Use him to be the mouthpiece. But when he started having doubt, when the blinders started coming off, and he rejected BB Netanyahu, I know that's not his name, the little fake Israel guy who really is Poland. hmm They had problems. But let's listen.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Lee. You've been there from the beginning with us, Lee, and we appreciate it. Nobody can sing that song like Lee Greenwood. Thank you very much, Lee, very much for being here. And his voice has not changed, you know? Pretty amazing. And a special thank you to Erica, because today America is a nation in grief, a nation in shock, and a nation in mourning. Less than 2 weeks ago, our country was robbed of one of the brightest lights of our times, a giant of his generation, and above all, a devoted husband, father, son, Christian and patriot. Charles James Kirk was heinously murdered by a radicalized, cold-blooded monster for speaking the truth. It was in his heart.
And now we hearing that, oh boy, is an actor. They saying uh, Robinson is the actor. The old guy that got dragged off is an actor. Uh, a lot of A lot of the stage people, they are saying now, are actors. But let's listen.
He was violently killed because he spoke for freedom and justice.
Freedom and
God,
justice. Hold up now. Hold up now. Oh, Lord. Freedom and justice. Who we talking about? Y'all.
and his voice has not changed, you know? Pretty amazing. And a special thank you to Erica, because today America is a nation in grief, a nation in shock, and a nation in mourning. Less than 2 weeks ago, our country was robbed of one of the brightest lights of our times, a giant of his generation, and above all, a devoted husband, father, son, Christian, and patriot. Charles James Kirk was heinously murdered by a radicalized, cold-blooded monster for speaking the truth that was in his heart. He was violently killed because he spoke for freedom and justice, for God, country, for reason, and for common sense. He was assassinated because he lived bravely, he led boldly, and he argued brilliantly without apology. He did what was right for our nation.
Yeah, he did it for you.
So
Until he started questioning what it is that you wanted him to do.
Evangelist for American Liberty became immortal. He's a martyr now for
Yeah.
much.
Y'all please come in hitting the like button.
And his voice has not changed, you know? Pretty amazing. And a special thank you to Erica. Because today, America is a nation in grief, a nation in shock, and a nation in mourning. Less than 2 weeks ago, our country was robbed of one of the brightest lights of our times, a giant of his generation, and above all, a devoted husband, father, son, Christian, and patriot. Charles James Kirk was heinously murdered by a radicalized, cold-blooded monster for speaking the truth that was in his heart. He was violently killed because he spoke for freedom and justice, for God, country, for reason, and for common sense. He was assassinated because he lived bravely, he led boldly, and he argued brilliantly without apology. He did what was right for our nation. And so on that terrible day, September 10th, 2025, our greatest
Hi, Alma.
evangelist for American liberty became immortal. He's a martyr now for American freedom. I know I speak for everyone here today when I say that none of us will ever forget Charlie Kirk, and neither now will history.
Oh, okay.
Because while Charlie has been reunited with his creator,
Is that better,
his voice on
Raymond?
will echo through the generations, and his name will live forever in the eternal chronicle of America's greatest patriots. He will live forever. To Charlie's incredible and beautiful widow, Erica, we know the weight of this monumental loss is almost
Is that better?
unbearable. But even in the midst of heartache, pain too great to even fathom, you have somehow found the strength, the deep faith, to be a comfort to millions and millions of people. And thank you very much, Erica. Thank you very much. Today, an entire nation wraps its loving arms around you and your beautiful children. We share in your immense and overwhelming sorrow, and we vow that we will do everything we can to ensure that your children grow up in a land where their father is honored and revered as a great American hero. That's what he is. To Charlie's parents who lost their beloved son, and to the entire Kirk family, we know that no words can ever be enough to fill the void he leaves behind. That's a void that just can't be filled. But I hope the extraordinary outpouring of emotion over these
Yes.
past 11 days has
I'm
comforted
just
you
now
with the
watching it.
knowledge that your son brought more good and love into this world in his 31 short years than most people, even very, very successful people, can bring in a lifetime. Charlie Kirk loved America with everything he had, and as we can see so clearly today, America loved Charlie Kirk. And he could always draw a big crowd. Look at this today. Look at what's gone on. This is a big crowd. Here today we have the Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance. We have the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Mike Johnson. We have countless members of the United States Senate, and I'm sorry I'm not going to introduce you, but I'll be up here. They're all over the place. And likewise, the House of Representatives, they're all over this big stadium. This is not an arena, this is a stadium.
Right.
A
Not
great
one.
cabinet and
Not
the
even a
stadium
call.
packed with rafters of
No
people.
empathy
Not to mention the one
for
across
Minnesota.
the street that also has tens of thousands of people. And they're watching us on
No
screen right
respect.
now. And I'm sorry we couldn't get you in. If anybody would like to give up your seat, please walk across the street.
What?
But this is like an old-time revival, isn't it? An old-time revival.
Hey, Crystal. Hi, Lawrence.
For millions of Americans, especially young people, it is agonizing and unthinkable to say goodbye to a patriot whose heart still had so much to give. It's so much. Raised in the suburbs of Chicago, Charlie was filled with a patriotic spirit from his youth, and he was an all-American in everything he did. And one of the last things he said to me is, "Please, sir, save Chicago."
Oh,
We're going to do that. We're going to save Chicago.
oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Breathe, Auntie Fee. Okay, let's. Oh my goodness. Save Chicago now. Why? Why is this Save Chicago? If it was Save Chicago, sir, why did you stop everything that you had planned for Chicago to go to Memphis? But now you're getting all this protest from Memphis. Now it's back to Chicago. Is that the plan? But carry on.
Not to mention the one across the street that also has tens of thousands of people. And they're watching us on screen right now. And I'm sorry we couldn't get you in. If anybody would like to give up your seat, please walk across the street. But this is like an old-time revival, isn't it? An old-time revival. For millions of Americans, especially young people, it is agonizing and unthinkable to say goodbye to a patriot whose heart still had so much to give. It's so much. Raised in the suburbs of Chicago, Charlie was filled with a patriotic spirit from his youth, and he was an all-American in everything he did. And one of the last things he said to me is, "Please, sir, save Chicago." We're going to do that. We're going to save
Yeah, the
Chicago
minute
from horrible crime.
they were assassinated by a Trump supporter.
In high school, he was the quarterback of
Thank
the
you,
football
Crystal.
team and the captain of the basketball team. He was a good athlete. A lot of people don't know that about Charlie. He was an Eagle Scout who spent his school lunch breaks listening to another champion for liberty, somebody that he greatly admired, Rush Limbaugh. But what was even more important to Charlie than politics and service was the choice he made in the 5th grade, which he called the most important decision of his life, to become a Christian and a follower of his Savior, Jesus Christ.
Now notice he said his follower.
Inspired
His
by faith and his love of freedom, Charlie did something remarkable when he was
his
just 18 years old.
savior.
On the advice of a mentor who told him to put off going to college because he was doing so well, he devoted his life to converting young people to the conservative cause. How did he do? Take a look. How did he do? In 2012, 2 days after graduating high school, and with just $1,800 in his pocket, the young man from Illinois, who no one had ever heard of, started an organization whose grand ambitions were captured in its name, Turning Point
Hi,
USA.
Corinne.
Great name.
9-1.
And I have a feeling it's going to
Sheila.
be bigger and better than ever before. Does that make sense? It's going to be
Do
bigger
you know
and
that
better
he used to be
than
a
ever
lefty?
before. Look at what's happening. 12 years ago, Charlie
Hi,
walked
Daniel.
onto his first college campus, the very liberal University of
Jesus has
Wisconsin in
empathy.
Madison.
Absolutely.
He set
Let's
up a
be
card.
clear, Raymond. Jesus was empathy. He saw that there were sinners without a chance of redemption of their sins. They were born with the sin seed. He chose to sacrifice his life. So Jesus Christ was empathy. And to say that you did not respect empathy, felt like empathy was an excuse, find fault in empathy, that means that you find fault in Jesus Christ. That's just my opinion. You can say you're a Christian. It doesn't mean that you are. I agree, Raymond. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the first clues to me when he said he did not believe in empathy. To me, to me, my opinion, if you do not believe in empathy, you do not believe in Jesus Christ. That's just my opinion. You can't have one without the other.
Of his Savior, Jesus Christ.
It was empathy that made him
Inspired by
sacrifice his
faith
life.
and his love of freedom, Charlie did something remarkable when he was just 18 years old. On the advice of a mentor who told him to put off going to college because he was doing so well, he devoted his life to converting young people to the conservative cause. How did he do? Take a look.
Okay, so Tony, let's be clear. There are demons all around. It's not just demons, are not just in politics. It's not just a left or right. Politics have you divided that way. That has nothing to do with your spiritual walk. It has nothing to do with demonic spirits. It has nothing to do with left and right. That's you are stuck with left and right, making that your life. Everybody's not confined in that. No. Mm-mm. So come out of that cult mentality. It's either left or right. No, it's it's bad on the left. It's some bad on the right. It's some good on the left. It's some good on the right. No.
In 2012, 2 days after graduating high school, and with just $1,800 in his pocket, the young man from Illinois, who no one had ever heard of, started an organization whose grand ambitions were captured in its name, Turning Point USA. Great name. And I have a feeling it's going to be bigger and better than ever before. Does that make sense? It's going to be bigger and better than ever before.
Yeah,
Look at
Mimi,
what's
hey,
happening.
Prime Minister Chris.
12 years ago, Charlie walked onto his first college campus, the very liberal University of Wisconsin at Madison. He set up the card
Absolutely,
table and put up a
Hayden.
sign with 3 words: "Big government sucks." Could you believe that? That's Charlie. That day, Charlie talked to every student who approached him, most of whom were probably quite a bit older than he was. Finally, after many hours, he found the first ever Turning Point chapter leader. His first year out of high school, Charlie traveled 300 days raising money and taking his message to campuses all over the country. He lived out of his parents' basement, and they actually loved having him there.
I
They
agree,
loved
Jay
Charlie.
Monty.
Everybody loved Charlie. And on the couches of friends and supporters, he lived off couches for
I don't think all of them are.
two
Majority of them.
years, 3 years, and life started getting a little bit different. But he was always the same. For 5 years, he refused to take a paycheck, but day after day, he worked from 5 a.m. in the morning till 11 p.m. in the evening, always. His staff remembers that he wore Walmart jeans and T-shirts from the Goodwill store. Remember the Goodwill store? It wasn't easy, but Charlie wasn't in it for money at all. Never has been. Money was never his thing. He was always in it for the mission. As he liked to say even back then, we have a country to save. Just what he did. He'd call me all the time, "Sir, we have a country to save." I said, "Charlie, thanks very much for telling me that. I appreciate it." Charlie volunteered for my 2016 campaign and traveled the nation with my son Don and Eric.
I've said it once. I'm gonna say it again. He sacrificed Charlie. The minute Charlie started questioning Israel, it was between Donald Trump or Charlie. Either you get rid of him or I'll get rid of you and him.
I got to know him very well and saw immediately that Charlie was actually a master builder of people. It was Charlie who first started organizing young black conservatives hungry for support and leadership. It was Charlie who stood up for persecuted Christians and Jews on college campuses. It was Charlie who helped bring online censorship, free speech, and cancel culture to the fore of our political debate. He was right up there with me. It was Charlie who helped unite MAGA, and you know what MAHA is? That's right, Make America Healthy Again. And tomorrow we're going to have one of the biggest announcements, really medically, I think, in the history of our country. We're going to be doing it with Bobby and Oz and all of the professionals. I think you're going to find it to be amazing. I think we
Is he
found an
rolling his
answer
eyes?
to autism. How about that?
Is he rolling his eyes?
We're going to be
Was he
talking
rolling his eyes?
in the Oval Office in the White House. Censorship,
Was he rolling
free
his eyes,
speech,
y'all?
cancel culture to the fore of our political debate. He was right up there with me. It was Charlie who helped unite MAGA. And you know what MAHA is? That's right, make America healthy again. And tomorrow we're going to have one of the biggest announcements,
Teleprompter.
really medically, I think, in the history of our country.
So
We're going
is
to be doing
Kennedy
it with
rolling his eyes?
Bobby and Oz and all of the professionals. I think you're going to find it to be amazing. I think we found an answer to autism.
He rolling his
How about
eyes.
autism? Tomorrow we're going to be talking in the Oval Office in the White House about autism,
Wow.
how it happens, so we won't let it happen anymore, and how to get at least somewhat better when you have it, so that parents can help their child, their beautiful child. That's a big one. I've been bugging everybody over there, get the answer to that. You know, 20 years ago, 1 in 10,000 were born with autism. 20 years ago. The most recent survey says 1 in 12.
Lady
How bad is
Crown
that?
Clarity, what are you trying to say?
That's for young,
What are you
for I'm
saying? Why people got an MSU for likes? What do you mean? Yeah, but spell it out so that I know if you're trying to be funny, if you need to remain here or be removed. So I'm going to remove that for you and say it again. Make sure it's clear. See if you're in the right place or the wrong place. You watch what you say over here respectfully.
boys, but also girls a little bit better. It's about 1 in 20. But we can't, because obviously there was something really wrong, and we think we know what that is. It's going to be, I think it's going to be one of the most important news conferences
He
I'll
reading
ever
this
have.
crap.
I look
Yeah, he
so
reading it.
forward to it. And you know who else looked forward to it? Because he knew. I tell him a little bit about what was going on. It was Charlie. He would have been front row center, believe me. We'll be missing him tomorrow. It was such a big deal for him, too. He brought together Donald Trump, Bobby Kennedy.
Y'all, okay, listen. Please don't come in here still being fooled. There was nothing taken off of his ear. They've already showed where that shooting was fake and staged. So if you still believe that he really got shot, that was a publicity stunt, then shame on you. If you still think it's something, that ear is still there, still there. Wake up, people. He's playing in your face. Wake up.
Right here in the great state of Arizona 1 year ago. Remember that? What a night, what a day that was. And it was Charlie who was among the first to speak
Yeah,
to
that's
me
what they
about
say.
a man from
And
Ohio
probably
by the
Patel
name
too.
of J.D. Vance. Have you ever heard of him? He's doing a good job. But Charlie would often call me, sometimes the night before a big event, the other side of the country. And they'd ask me and say, do you think you could come and speak at the event? The following day, right? I'd say,
Yes,
Charlie,
Janet. He
I'm the
used Charlie.
president of the United States. You want me to travel 4 hours by plane? And you know, sometimes I did it. He was a very good guy. He was a very convincing guy. He didn't stop, but he would ask for things like that. Sir, could you be tomorrow in California? I said, Charlie, give me a break, please. He just wouldn't stop. And he succeeded. But I almost always went because you never wanted to.
When he told you not to bomb Iran for Israel, you cussed him out. Told him to get the up out of there. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. And he told you that he didn't trust Israel. You betrayed him and told BB. Mm-hmm. And then he invited him to come to Israel. He refused, and he's gone.
Let Charlie down. He worked so hard. You just didn't want to let him down. I felt guilty. It'd make me feel
I know
very
you
guilty.
did feel guilty.
As president, many people asked me for things, but Charlie was one of the few who always gave more than he took. He was a giver, much more than a taker. And no matter how big Charlie became, no one was too small for him to notice. He was good to everybody. Didn't matter. Several years ago, a fourth grader asked Charlie to appear on his podcast, which was probably only watched by the parents of that fourth grader. And Charlie, who was actually pretty hot at the time, to be honest, he agreed, and the boy asked for advice. Charlie replied, the left. I call it the radical left.
Thank you, Fred. I wasn't talking to you.
Sometimes the radical left lunatics.
Thank you. Y'all hit the like button, please.
Charlie didn't say that. He called it the left. He was probably right, but I can't help it. I can't help it. So he said the left, radical left lunatics, may have all the money in the world, but they could never outwork me. I will wake up as early as I need to. About himself, I will stay up as late as I need
can't
to,
either.
and I will never stop fighting for our country.
But they say it was Israel who put him in position.
That's what he was doing.
It's called grafting.
Wow. Mm-hmm. What a horrible moment. I was in the Oval Office when I heard they came
What's in the Bible?
It was like a surreal experience, a terrible.
What's in the Bible? Fred, what's in the Bible? Yeah, that ear's still there. That ear is still there. What's in the Bible? Because the Israel that they speak of in the Bible, it's not this Israel that was built by the Rothschilds in 1948. Couldn't be the same. Surely you know that. This was a man-created Israel. So what's in the Bible?
Terrible. I had some very big people in the Oval Office, and I was in the midst of a very important conversation for our country. Big people, the biggest.
Yes, Charles.
I said, you have to leave now.
Yep.
When they told me that, they told me in front of a group of very powerful people. I said, you have to leave now, right now, please. Right now, you have to leave. Go. By his own determination and skill, Charlie Kirk built Turning Point from his humble beginnings, that nobody believed it could ever end up something like
2468. Literally shitty president.
We have a massive stadium loaded up with people, but he got tremendous crowds.
I couldn't listen to all of it. I wouldn't.
This kind of horrible news, and before we had to hear what happened so terribly. He delivered more than 250 speeches a year at over 200 colleges and
Is it? I can't see him.
Universities, and that was at a time when it was not really vogue to go to colleges and universities if you were a conservative. It really took great courage. And we used to talk, and I said, I think they're much more conservative than we know, and he agreed, but it just wasn't something that was happening because the radical left.
Crystal, is there a lot of
things, very dangerous.
Yeah, I'm not able to put the members only. Let me see if I can add it.
1,000 churches. He launched a podcast and radio show that grew to an audience of 1 million Americans a day, one of the bigger shows on radio.
I need 30 likes, y'all, real quick. Crystal. Someone said it's a lot of bots. I'm not able to see them on the device I'm on, and I'm not able to put members only. Is it a lot? I need for y'all to double tap your screen. Okay. I need for you to double tap your screen on your phone or hit the three dots at the top right and get the likes up. Hey, Bryant. Hey, hey, hey. Get them up quick or I'll shut it down.
And Charlie didn't just bring young people into the movement. It's a very important conversation for our country. Big people, the biggest. And I said, you have to leave now. Well, they told me that. They told me in front of a group of
Thank you,
very
Crystal.
powerful people. I said, you have to leave now, right now, please. Right now, you have to leave. Go. By his own determination and skill, Charlie Kirk built Turning Point from his humble
Thank you, Janet.
beginnings that nobody
Thank you
believed
for
could
the
ever end
floating
up something
hearts.
like this, into a great movement and a juggernaut of American politics. And you know, we have a massive stadium loaded up with people, but he got tremendous crowds
Prime
before he had
Minister,
this
it's
kind of
overwhelming right
horrible
now.
news and before we had to hear what happened so terribly. He delivered more
You
than
don't have
250
to
speeches a year in
uh
over
the run.
200 colleges and
If you have a problem with
universities,
hitting
and
it,
that was
get out.
at a time when it
Bye.
was not really vogue to go to colleges and universities if you were a conservative. It really took great courage. And we used to talk, and I said, you know, I think they're much more conservative than we know, and he agreed, but it just wasn't something that was happening because the radical left would do very bad things, very dangerous things. But Charlie set up chapters on 2,200 campuses and spoke at more than 1,000 churches. He launched a podcast and radio show that grew to an audience of 1 million Americans a day, one of the bigger shows on radio.
And he didn't care.
Charlie
He
didn't
invoked it.
just bring young people into
He
the movement.
planned it. He
All of a sudden,
planned
it started
January
to grow by
6th.
leaps and bounds. By 2024, we won more young people than any Republican candidate in the history of our country, including for the first time a
Too bad he know
majority
better
of
than that.
males under 30. Can you
Too
believe
bad
it?
he don't think he was the greatest. That's why he had to steal.
Remember when Republican presidential candidates would get 4%? No, we did unbelievably with young people. It was a big, big factor. Unbelievable. But he made me work for it. Sir, you have to make a speech here. You have to make a speech there.
Oh, yeah. Anybody
We
who
did it,
trusts
and
him
we
is
won,
crazy.
and our country is doing unbelievably well now. We had a country that was dead 1 year ago, and now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And Charlie helped us make it that. One of the great people.
Yeah, everything that she said would be what happened,
And his
happened, didn't
basic
it?
method never changed. It never
Electing
really
him.
changed. He stayed the same person.
Everything she said.
At every campus event, Charlie asked the people who disagreed with him to come forward, and instead of silencing them, he handed them a microphone and let them speak. And he convinced so many of them. It was a pretty amazing thing to watch, actually. Shortly before Charlie arrived on campus, the day he was assassinated, a staff member texted him that there were many critics and students who were opposed to his views and rather strenuously in the crowd. And that actually made him feel good because he wanted to convince them. He understood. He really did. He understood what was right. And he was right about that. A lot of it was based on common sense, by the way. Charlie wrote back to the staff member saying, I'm not here to fight them. I want to know them and love them, and I want to reach them and try and lead them into a great way of life in our country. In that private moment on his dying day, we find everything we need to know about who Charlie Kirk truly was. He was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent.
Oh,
And I
wow.
don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica. But
Oh,
now
wow.
Erica can talk to me and the whole group, and maybe they can convince me that that's not right, but I can't stand my opponent.
Well, at least he's honest about that.
Charlie's angry. Look at that. He's angry at me now. He wasn't interested in demonizing anyone. He was interested in persuading everyone to the ideas and principles he believed were good, right, and true. Before each appearance, he prayed
Yeah,
these
he
words:
honest.
God, use me for your will. Always said the same thing: use me for your will.
He don't agree with that either.
And that is exactly what God did. When you think, that's exactly what he did. The more success Charlie had, and he was getting more and more successful, the more dangerous his mission became. On campuses all over the country, his quest for open dialogue was met with menacing hate. There were bomb
As you
threats,
come
pulled
in, hit
fire
the like button.
alarms, and countless rage-filled radicals who tried to shout him down. It was nasty. I used to say, Charlie, this is nasty stuff you're doing. At one event, police had to build barricades to protect students from an angry mob of thugs. Many of these people, by the way, are paid a lot of money to do this. They're agitators. They're paid agitators. Remember that. When you see they all have the same beautifully printed sign, every sign is identical, comes out of a top-level print shop. That's not the signs that are made in somebody's basement. Those are paid for by very bad people, and hopefully we're going to be finding out through the DOJ who those people are.
You know, 'cause that's what you do.
At another college, Antifa terrorists shattered windows, threw rocks, and tried to storm the building where Charlie was speaking. It was a really bad one. Often dozens of police officers were needed to prevent left-wing violence. And the violence comes largely from the left. You don't hear that from too many people, do you? And virtually every day for years before he was murdered, Charlie received these horrible death threats. People don't know. I used to talk to him about it. He said, I got some threats. He always felt that when they actually made the threat, they were not the ones to worry about. The ones to worry about were the ones that don't make the threats. I think you know what I mean. He knew the risk, but and I shared a certain motto: never back down and never ever surrender. Just don't surrender, never back down. He believed in it so strongly. So strongly. And he's right. He's totally right. The radicals and their allies in the media, sometimes referred to, as my son said, the fake news media, tried to silence Charlie for a simple reason: because he was winning, and he was winning big. He was taking over college campuses. Colleges that had, in theory, only very liberal, or as they like to say, progressive. I call them liberal, but they like to call themselves, because such a beautiful word, progressive. They're the opposite of progressive, if you think about it. But they were really nasty, and he would go into these colleges. All of a sudden, within 2 years, 3 years, they turned into bastions of conservatism. It was really quite amazing to see. They lied about him because they did not want you to listen to him or to learn from him, because what he was talking about and even preaching
Black
made so
power.
much sense. Everywhere he went, he won the debates, he won the hearts, he won the minds, and yes, he
Black
won
is
the
the
elections. Some
originating
people, he helped us, he
race.
helped other people. We won the biggest election in the history of our country, I believe.
In your mind.
Charlie Kirk was without a doubt among the most influential figures in the most important election in the history of our country. The election of, oh, that beautiful day, November 5th, 2024. Do you remember that day? It was 9 months ago. What a day that was. I mean, we had a pretty good day in the first one. And I must tell you, on the second one, we had a phenomenal day. But a lot of bad things happened. And now that's not even questioned. They cheated like dogs.
Why are
We
you
got them
talking
back
about
and
the
ran.
election
Got them back.
at this man's memorial.
But we owe Charlie a profound and eternal debt of gratitude now, just like Charlie and Erica made Turning Point hot. We are looking at a country that has the chance to attain a level
Embarrassing.
like never before. Tariffs are making us rich again, richer than anybody ever thought was possible.
Oh, wow.
And the only one challenging them are people that hate our country or foreign countries that are paying a price, because they did the same thing to us for years. They took advantage of us, but we're making money. We're becoming richer and richer.
How you making the money?
We're taking
With
care of our
Israel?
people better and better when we do that, and we can
You
take care
giving
of
money
other
to
countries
Israel.
better and better. But we're doing unbelievably well. The tariffs have really been a hold. The election was big, but the tariffs, because of the election, came in. Remember, other nations do that to us. And Charlie understood that. He saw the money. He saw what was coming into our country, and we can use that
Right,
for Medicare,
Elizabeth.
Medicaid, Social Security, all of those things that we fight so hard for. And that's exactly what's happening. The numbers are incredible. When
BB.
the news finally came out on election night last November that the race was officially won, came out pretty early in the night. Charlie was live on camera. In that moment, he was overcome with emotion. I've never seen him like this. He was so happy. For a long while, he said nothing. His eyes were filled with tears, and then he buried his face in his hands, and he started crying. That wasn't the Charlie I knew, but in thinking about it, it actually was the Charlie I knew, because he had a tremendous heart. He just wanted what was good for our country, and he saw us going.
I'll take a pause from here for a minute and give a shout out to my, oh, does it show? To my top fans. Let me give a shout out to my top fans. Yeah, while y'all get the likes up. Top fans. See that? Shout out to you. Shout out to all of you. Shout out to the top fans. I greatly appreciate you. It don't matter if you to the left or to the right. I appreciate you. I have to recognize you. Take a break from all of that hoorah and shout out to my top fans. Ooh. The top 50. Shout out to you. And shout out to, shows my number one, Janet. Shout out to you. Greatly appreciate it. Let's go.
In such a horrible direction. Lovingly, Eric. And this was so beautiful. Erica put a MAGA hat on to cover his bowed head. I like that very much. MAGA, we love. Does everybody love MAGA? Make America great again.
I wish that include all the people.
When Joe Biden used to get up, remember the speeches? We will stop MAGA. We will stop MAGA. You know, he could barely get the words out. We will stop. I said, can somebody inform him that MAGA means make America great again? How do you say you're going to stop it?
Wish it include all everybody.
When Charlie finally looked up and spoke, he smiled through the watery eyes and simply said, I am humbled by God's grace. That was his statement that night. I was watching him. I was very impressed, actually. It showed he had a big heart. Every single American should take a long, hard look at the twisted soul and dark spirit of anyone who would want to kill a young man as good as
Yes,
Charlie.
she was,
to kill
Rob.
anybody, but to kill a man like this, he didn't deserve this. He didn't deserve
Hey,
this.
Reflections with Kimberly.
And anyone who would make excuses for it are just out of their mind. Charlie's murder
You're my
was
number
not
one
just
fan,
an attack
Bryant.
on one
Thank
man,
you.
one movement. It was an attack on our
Thank
entire
you.
nation. That was a horrible attack on the United States of America. It was
Yep,
an
mega
assault on
means
our most
witchcraft.
sacred liberties and God-given rights. The gun was
Mega
pointed
mean
at
does
him,
it does it
but the
mean that
bullet
in
was aimed at...
Latin? Does it mean that in Latin, Elizabeth? No, I don't like witchcraft. Mega literally means magic or witchcraft in Latin. Really? Oh wow. I need to research that. Traitor. Yeah, I think he's a traitor. Nonsense. Wordplay. I need to research that. Make America great again, not make Trump great again. You're right. Or not make Israel a great. We send them people over there millions, and they're not. Let me say again, they're not the Israel that's mentioned in the Bible.
all of us.
That Israel that he's talking about was created in 1948.
Bullet was aimed at every one of us. Indeed, Charlie was killed for expressing the very
Spellcaster.
ideas that virtually everyone in this
Oh
arena and
wow.
most other places throughout our country deeply believed in. But the assassin failed in his quest because Charlie's message has not been silenced. It now is bigger and better and stronger than ever before, and it's not even close.
What's not even close?
And it's rare that such a thing happens, but Charlie is bigger today than he was. Think about it. Just 2 weeks ago, he's bigger today than he was 2 weeks ago. Now,
Oh
that
wow.
may not help his friends and loved ones, of which there are so many. It may not help Erica and those beautiful children
Oh
who have to
wow.
suffer so horribly through this moment, but
Wow.
they know it's true. He's bigger now than ever before, and he's eternal. He's eternal. And I just want to say we love him. And he's looking down at us right now, and he's saying, wow,
Hi
that's a great
Fred.
crowd. He's saying, that's a great crowd.
Oh wow.
And it's a great crowd of patriots. But that's why I will soon award Charlie the nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It's the highest civilian honor.
Well, it's the least you could do. You swapped him for Israel.
Now we will do the ceremony at our beautiful White House in a very safe Washington, D.C., a place that Charlie truly revered. Yeah, we stopped the crime in Washington. Took 12 days. Now you can go to restaurants. You can walk down the middle of the street with your wife. You can have your wife walk alone down the middle of the street. She's going to be in good shape. What a difference. What a difference good management really makes. But it's I'm so proud of that Washington, D.C. You know, it's one of the worst in the nation, in the world. And now it's considered a very safe city.
They said the
And
numbers was
it's
dropping
also, I
before
passed
you
it yesterday, I went through it,
before you came.
and the lawns are good. It's like a different place. It's like the tents are gone, the threats are gone, the gangs aren't there. We got rid
That's a
of, you know, we
lie.
took out 1,500 career criminals, 1,500. If you have 3 career criminals, that can make a big difference. But I'm so proud of Washington, D.C., and now we're going into Memphis. And we'll get that one straightened out fast. And then we're going into some others, but we're going to go to Chicago, and we're going to have Charlie very much in mind when we go into Chicago. And we'll get that one straightened out. You have an incompetent governor who he thinks it's okay when 11 people get murdered over the weekend. He thinks you don't have any crime when 11 people get murdered and 28 people get shot.
They
He
need the
says he's
National
got
Guards
crime.
to
No,
use. Yeah,
they don't have it under
sir.
control.
Sir, what about Utah? I agree, Prime Minister. What about Utah? That's the hood. That's they need the National Guards there. They got people who can bionically jump on top of the roofs of buildings and uh, with rifles leave the screwdriver to dismantle it in the woods, but the screwdriver's still on top of the roof. I mean, they got some special kind of hoods and thugs that can pull that off, and that the FBI could not even catch them. They had to be turned in by family members. Yeah, you need the National Guards in Utah, sir. Yeah, real quick, fast, in a hurry. Yeah. He didn't love the Israelites. That because they're not the real Israel. Yeah. And them folks are convicted felons, thugs, Polans. What are you talking about? They done deceived, changed their names to Hebrew names. Yeah. Y'all better do y'all research. All of that is thugs milking the system. And before he leave, whether forced or not, the U.S. will be bankrupt, and all the money will be over in Israel, where Epstein is still operating his human trafficking of minors. That's where he's at. Yeah, with a little beanie on his head and some sideburn bangs coming down the side, with a fake beard on his face. Y'all ain't figured that out yet. Yeah.
Oh, but we'll have it under control very quickly. So we're going to be doing that.
That
And
little
Charlie
hat.
loved what we
That
were
little
doing. He was
hat.
so proud of what happened. He was there to see it. He so proud of what happened in Washington.
Yes, man. That little hat. He over there with the little hat on his head. With them sideburn, a kissy curls, Shirley Temple curls hanging down the side. Absolutely.
D.C. As you know, the depraved assassin who planned and executed Charlie's killing has been arrested and charged with capital murder. God willing, he will receive the full and ultimate punishment for his horrific crime. It's a terrible thing. Because you can't let that happen. You can't let that happen. You can't let it happen to a country. The Department of Justice is also investigating networks of radical left maniacs who fund, organize, fuel, and perpetrate political violence.
What about that
We know
BB
who many
Benjamin?
of them are. But law enforcement can
Not
only be
supposed
the
to be here.
beginning of our
Yeah.
response to Charlie's murder. Over the last 11 days, we have heard stories of commentators, influencers, and others in our society who greeted his assassination with sick approval, excuses, or even jubilation. You've heard that, so have I.
The
Couldn't
same
believe
way
it.
you did to people in
Some of the very
Minnesota.
same people who spent the last 8 years trying to sit in moral judgment of anyone who disagreed with them about politics suddenly started cheering for a murder. Incredible. You know the names. They're major
Well, I know
losers.
you right, Brian.
That will be proven out in a short period of time.
You right.
Some of the very people who call you a hater for using the wrong pronoun were filled
Right.
with glee at the killing
Same
of a
energy with
father
Breonna Taylor.
with two beautiful young children. And the same commentators who this week are screaming fascism over a canceled late-night TV show where the anchor had no talent and no ratings.
But you was on his show.
Last week we're implying that Charlie Kirk deserved what happened to him.
He
No
did not
side
say
in
that.
American.
No, sir, you're a lie. He did not say that. He said you didn't have no care or regards for him. You cared more about the trucks pouring cement for a ballroom in a house that's not yours. That's what he said. You had no regards. You didn't care nothing about that. So don't lie on Kimmel. He called you out, as well as some of the things that old boy has said. Yeah, he's crazy. He is crazy. Oh my God.
Politics has a monopoly on
He
disturbed
wouldn't
or
speak in mine
misguided people.
funeral or
But there's one
memorial.
part of our political community which believes they have a monopoly on truth, goodness, and virtue, and concludes they have also a monopoly on power, thought, and speech. Well, that's not happening anymore. We've turned that corner very quickly. Tragically, atrocities of this kind, and kind that we saw in Utah of all places, are the eventual consequence of that kind of thinking. If speech is
I
violence,
need
then
for y'all to
some
double
are
tap your
bound to
screen.
conclude that violence is
Double
justified to
tap your
stop
screen.
speech.
Get the lights up.
And we're not going to let that be justified. The tradition of reason and open debate that Charlie practiced is not a pillar of our democracy. In many ways, it's the basis of our entire society. It's the right and inheritance of every free American, the greatest legacy of the...
Stop lying. You stand that as long as they're not talking about you. As long as they're not making fun of you. Loser. Yeah. If that's the case, then the things that people say about you, they would not be getting fired from their jobs or removed. You can't stand the heat. Your niece say you have been like that since they made fun of you at the dinner table about some some mashed potatoes, and you've been pouting ever since. You hate to be looked down upon, and you hate to look useless, and you hate being humiliated, embarrassed. Yes. So you don't like freedom of speech when the truth is spoken against you. So stop lying.
Enlightenment and among the most treasured achievements of civilization. We will defend it at all costs, and we will carry forward the torch of liberty that Charlie Kirk held.
He bashed
So
everybody.
proud and so high. He was so proud, and he did hold that torch high. We will never, ever let it fail. We will never let it fail. But we're going to raise it higher than ever before. It's going to be raised, and this is the beginning. Perhaps
With
it should
lies
be no
and
surprise
deceit.
that Charlie, who spent his life speaking with the critics of these traditions, ultimately became
Hi,
convinced
Maria.
that we needed not just a political realignment, but also a spiritual reawakening. We did.
And speaks
And we
better
have to
than
bring
Trump.
back religion to America, because without borders, law and order, and religion, you really don't have a country anymore.
How can you speak on law and order and you're a convicted criminal, convicted felon? Should not the law and order start with you? You don't follow the law, and there is no order. You all over the place. So you should be a prime example. You should not be in the White House because you are for law and order. You're a convicted felon. You steal females' body parts. You put your hands in places that's not supposed to be, that you do not have permission. You force yourself on people. You break the law. So stop talking about law and order when you're a convicted felon.
We want religion brought back to America. We want to bring God back into our beautiful USA like never before. We want God back.
I don't like hypocrites, Mary. Would you not say he's a hypocrite? He's talking about law and order. He's a convicted felon. How does that work? How can you speak against criminals when you are a criminal? Is that not being a hypocrite? Think about it before you speak. Think about it. Could Barack Obama be a convicted felon in office? Would you protest? Would you have a problem with that? Or would you say, oh, it's okay? Oh, it's okay. Be real with yourself. Yeah. Would you have a problem if President Barack Obama came into the White House with 32, 33 felonies attached to him? How would you feel? Let's not be slow all your life.
Charlie would have been so pleased to hear his friends and colleagues.
That's how we know that you guys are in a cult, because you justify that. Yeah, you believe the hype. You accept the hype.
Today giving testimony and giving glory to God. Within minutes of the gunshot in Utah, millions of Americans, young and old, heard the news and dropped to their knees and started praying. Even many who rarely prayed asked God for a miracle. Please, God, save Charlie. But although Charlie's time with us on earth has ended, those prayers for a miracle have already been answered. Look at what's happening. Look at what's happening. In the days since Charlie's death, we have seen how his legacy has touched so many millions around the world.
Oh yeah, I wanted to tell him off.
1,000.
See, he's probably one of those pedos. Yeah, he's probably one of them 28 pedos who do the same thing Trump do. Yeah, on the far right. Anybody who justify that, yeah, yeah. You have the pedo syndrome.
Gathered at City Hall to sing the American national anthem and raise up posters with the name Charlie Kirk. In Seoul, South Korea, crowds gathered to wave American flags
about your
and
daddy
shout,
right here, Steve.
"We
You
are
talking about your daddy?
Charlie Kirk." His memory has been honored in the streets of Berlin, Warsaw, Vienna, Sydney, Madrid, London, Tel Aviv, and all over the world. So beautiful to watch.
He your daddy. He your
A man as far away as rural Australia texted a pastor, "I'm going to come to church tomorrow for the first time ever." The pastor asked, "Why is that?" The man replied, "Because of Charlie Kirk." Can you imagine? The lesson of Charlie's life is that you should never underestimate what one person can do with a good heart, a righteous cause, a cheerful spirit, and the will to fight, fight, fight. Have to fight. We're saving our country. And Charlie's a big factor, such a big factor. Charlie Kirk started with only an idea to change minds on college campuses, and instead he ended up with a far greater achievement, changing history. Changed history.
Well,
Today,
why did you choose Israel over him? Why did he not have the right to have a freedom of speech against Israel? How about that one? Why did you want him to change the verbiage that in the questions he was having about Israel and Epstein? How about that? You didn't find a problem in him until he started asking the questions and saying that the files needed to be shown and saying that he knows that your name was in it. Yeah, and everyone needs to see it. And then he started questioning Israel. Then he became a problem. And when he refused to keep certain people off of his platform, y'all took him out. So his freedom of speech and debate became a problem when it came up against making America great again. See, his light bulbs came on. It's some of the people who still following who light bulb still is off.
Kirk rests in glory in heaven for all eternity. He has gone from speaking on campuses in Wisconsin to kneeling at the throne of God, where he is right now. We grieve for the friend and leader that we have lost, but we go forward strengthened by his faith and bolstered by his courage and inspired by his example to defend the country he lived for the freedoms he died for,
No, your
and the
mama
values
silly.
in which he so deeply
Your
believed.
mama
He
silly.
believed in values that we should all believe in.
Products.
Charlie
It's
created
your mama
something
who's
very
silly for
special. It's
having you.
called Turning Point USA. And under the leadership and love.
Products for less. It's your mama who's silly. Okay? Not me. It's your mama for having you and allowing you to get into a cult. Meaning you like to follow, you're not a leader. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you.
Of Erica, it will become bigger and better and stronger than ever before. So, Charlie, we all want to thank you. We want to say a very loud God bless you, Charlie. God bless you for what you've done is incredible. And God bless Erica and the children. God bless the United States of America. And could I ask Erica, please come out. Erica, please come out. Thank you.
Hey, Keita. Very. He'll be in her bed next. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Oh, no, I heard hers was crazy. Hold on, y'all. Let me go here. Oh, yeah, no. Y'all get the lights up. Let's go here. Mm-mm. I heard hers was crazy. I can't listen to that Stepford Wives speech. Or that type of speech where it sounds like she's speaking to an orphanage of kids on a microphone or something. Nope, not tonight. But hold on. Yeah. Nick, did you hit my support? They paid $400 million re-election. Mm. Mm-mm. They said it was no way possible for him to dismantle that gun and do all he said he did in 6 minutes. Tell Nick support the prayer. Thank you for reading my mind. Why he want me to sit here? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. 6 minutes. How did he get off the roof without a gun? So if he got off the roof without a gun, how did he dismantle it? And if he dismantled it, how? If he did not have the screwdriver, because it was still on the roof. how we got to stop playing dumb.
Friends owns Dua Lipa.
Look at this, y'all.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's best friend owns Dua Lipa, Cardi B, Lil Uzi Vert, Kodak Black, Jack
On
Harlow,
who?
Megan Thee Stallion, and many more, all controlled by Craig Kallman, who runs Atlantic Records. Atlantic Records is run by AMG, which is run by Elliot Grange. Elliot Grange is the son of Lucius Grange, who happens to work with Drake and all of these famous celebrities.
Not
AMG
Diddy.
is owned by Warner Music Group, whose chairman is Michael Linton. Warner Music Group is owned by Axis Industries, which is a holding company owned by Len Blavatnik. Guess what everyone in this video has in common? Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's best friend owns Dua Lipa, Cardi B,
Can
Lil
y'all
Uzi
believe
Vert,
that?
Kodak Black, Jack Harlow, Megan Thee Stallion, and many more, all
Y'all see
controlled by
Diddy up in
Craig
there?
Kallman, who runs Atlantic Records. Atlantic Records is run by AMG, which is run by Elliot Grange. Elliot Grange is the son of Lucius Grange, who happens to work with Drake and all of these famous celebrities. AMG is owned by Warner Music Group, whose chairman is Michael Linton. Warner Music Group is owned by Axis Industries, which is a holding company owned by Len Blavatnik. Guess what everyone in this video has in common? Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's best
The
friend
same
owns Dua Lipa,
Benjamin.
Cardi B, Lil Uzi Vert, Kodak Black, Jack Harlow, Megan Thee Stallion,
The same
and many
one.
more, all controlled by Craig Kallman, who runs
Trafficking,
Atlantic Records.
trafficking,
Atlantic Records is
trafficking.
run by AMG, which is run by Elliot Grange. Elliot Grange is the son of Lucius Grange, who happens to work with Drake and all of these famous celebrities. AMG is owned by Warner Music Group, whose chairman is Michael Linton. Warner Music Group is owned by Axis Industries, which is a holding company owned by Len Blavatnik.
Hold on. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them
Facts.
Cowboys?
The fun starts here.
Hold on.
Charlie said, that there was no such thing as hate speech. Obviously, no one anticipated what happened to Charlie, but you have always been
The right wing right now is going gangbusters trying to convince America that Donald Trump gives a single shit about the life, the legacy, the death of Charlie Kirk. In fact, Jimmy Kimmel, the thing that he said that was so offensive to MAGA world had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk's death. It had to do with how Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about his death.
Facts.
Hey, how are you doing? My condolences to the loss of your friend. How are you holding up? Yeah, I think pretty well. Did you see the trucks? They got the construction thing going on. We're doing the ballroom. Fantastic ballroom. Lots of gold. It's going to be great. I love ballrooms.
Facts.
That's why.
Hi, Deborah.
And look, if it wasn't clear from that and every other response you've seen him give, this clip should just lay bare that Donald Trump does not, never did, does not now, and never will care about the death of his dear friend Charlie Kirk. Yesterday, an interview was posted on Fox News between Donald Trump and Martha McCallum. When did
Thank you, Doreen.
soft focus? It's not even soft focus. When did blurry
Thank you.
camera
Thank
work
you.
become cool? What is going on? I have a monitor here that shows me to make sure that I'm in focus at all times, because that's how cameras work. Not with Fox News, apparently. Not with their female anchors, and not with Donald Trump, who's so desperately insecure that he needs to also be the Carrie Lake treatment in his clips. But in this clip, that was a digression.
Thank you, thank you,
In this
thank
clip,
you.
Donald Trump just lets you know,
Thank you,
I don't give a
Doreen
shit about Charlie Kirk, because
Spears,
Mark McCallum's
for the
asking the
$10
question. She's saying, listen,
contribution donation
Charlie Kirk
support.
said there was no such thing as hate speech. He was a free speech warrior. Oh, that's not true. He did say that, but he also lived a different way by targeting professors and having them harassed
Epstein
and
files.
stalked and threatened by his Turning Point USA idiots. So that's not true. But Donald Trump's response is, yeah, he's probably not saying that now.
He probably not saying that now. Did you say that, Donald? Donnie boy, did you say he's probably not saying that now? I know he lying on you. It's the man in the pink jacket lying on you. Did you say he probably not saying that now? Hey, Jamie. Jamie said, oh, no. He said...
lived a different way by targeting professors
Shame on
and
you.
having them harassed and stalked and threatened by his Turning Point
Yes,
USA
I
idiots.
am. I'm doing good.
So that's not true. But Donald Trump's
Beyond
response
foolishness.
is, yeah, he's probably not saying that now. What?
Wow.
He might not be saying that now.
He might not be saying that now.
Do you think? I
And that
agree.
Erica girl hugging on
agree.
you, loving
Watch
on you.
this.
And you
I'll
talked
play
about
just
her.
the offending moment.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
then later we'll play the full clip so you can hear his
He probably not saying that now.
batshit crazy, rambling, demented answer. First, though, Charlie Kirk's not saying that now.
Charlie said, that there was no such thing as hate speech. He obviously, no one anticipated what happened to Charlie, but you have always been
Imagine this. Imagine
He might not be
this.
saying that now.
If Jimmy Kimmel, instead of saying that they're trying to score political points using the death of Charlie Kirk as a weapon, that's paraphrasing what he said. But instead of saying that, the thing he actually said, what if he had said, Charlie Kirk might not be saying that now?
Wow.
The right wing would be losing their minds.
Absolutely.
They would be apoplectic over the fact that
He may not be
the
saying
legacy of
that
Charlie
now.
Kirk, the life of Charlie Kirk was being made light of. That his death was being mocked.
His big
But
daddy
when Dear Peter
said.
says it, dismisses it.
His big daddy
It's
said.
A-okay.
He probably ain't
So let's
saying
do what we do here
saying
on
that
this
now.
program. I want you to focus on what the question was from Martha McCallum, and then what Donald Trump's absolutely inexplicable answer was. The full width and breadth of it. So she asks, keep it in mind. So do you have concerns that some people look at this and your critics will say, well, this crackdown is a crackdown on free speech? Do you have any concerns that people are going to think this is a crackdown on free speech? That's the question.
Hold on.
And what will follow
is that his big daddy said he may not be saying that now. His big daddy. His pimp. Let's just go and call it out. He was doing what he was doing for you. And you have the nerve to say, yeah, I told y'all he didn't have a freedom to speak against Donald Trump. Donald Trump said he ain't got too much to say now. Yeah. We nipped all that in the bud.
have concerns about, some people look at this and your critics will say, well, this crackdown is a crackdown on free speech.
It's interesting. I watch your show and I watch others, and I see people saying things. They're crazy. These people are crazed lunatics. Even the way they'll answer, it's like you'll see them, and the things they say are really bad, but they look crazy. They're almost crazed. Maybe they're drugged out. Maybe there's some other problem. But the kind of things you hear, actually you probably don't put most of them on. The kind of things you hear are so unbelievable. You wouldn't think, you're a very regular person. I am too. I'm a regular person. Who would make the statements that they make?
Make that make sense. What did our human apostrophe of a president, What is this?
What did he
Is
say?
this vital masculine posture? This is their guy. This is their dear leader, the unassailable macho man, Donald Trump, who can't even sit straight. Fantastic. But did you hear?
Oh, no. This man is funny.
This is their guy. This is their dear leader, the unassailable macho man, Donald Trump, who can't even sit straight. Fantastic. But did you hear that answer?
What
Do
answer?
you have concerns that this crackdown will be looked at as a crackdown on free speech? Yeah, it's interesting. I watch your show. I watch others. I see other people saying things. They're crazy. These people are crazed lunatics. Even the way they'll answer, you know, it's like you'll see them, and the things they are really bad. But
He ain't
they
said
look
nothing.
crazy. They're almost crazed. Maybe they're drugged out. Maybe there's some other problem. But the kind of things you hear, it's actually, you probably don't put most of them on. The kind of things you hear are so unbelievable. You wouldn't think, you know, you're a very regular person.
If y'all who trust and believe in this man, if y'all understand anything he says, something's wrong with you. I mean, he has not said nothing. Nothing.
I'm a very regular person who would make the statements they make. What in the is he talking about?
What?
We're in danger. And not just from the violations of the United States Constitution, the assault on our individual personal liberties. Not even just that. The fact that we have a lunatic, speaking of lunatics, as president of the United States. We have someone whose brain is malfunctioning. It's like he's having a series of mini strokes, major strokes.
And he mixing it up.
In the semblance of, in the time frame of just this answer.
And what did he say?
Hollywood is a place where they're sacrificed.
People are sacrificed.
Time frame of just this answer. And they're celebrating. This is leadership. This makes total sense. Of course, he answered the question.
Princess Kate was looking beautiful.
He did not answer the question.
Not at all.
And I'm sure, and by the way, that was after charitable editing on the part of Fox News.
Oh, wow.
Imagine what was left on the cutting room floor, what kind of drivel and nonsense and confusing dementia that was foisted upon Martha McCallum. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I wish it were unbelievable. I wish. Unfortunately, this is the reality that we have to contend with. The usurpation of our constitutional rights as citizens. And not only if you're a liberal, only if you're a Democrat, only if you have leftist attitudes about how to run the country. Only then.
This is elder abuse.
If you're a conservative, you're a Republican. You're free to spew vile hate speech, use invectives and racial slurs. It's encouraged even. It's a badge of honor for you.
A badge of honor.
But if you make jokes about the dear leader, his fatness, his stupidness, his lack of health acuity even, then you're at risk. They're coming for us next. Eventually it's going to get down to those who don't have a YouTube channel, but if you made comments about Donald Trump on Facebook or if you're still on the Nazi Twitter or if you're over on Blue Sky, they're coming for you too. I mean, even Fallon, who hosted Donald Trump and tousled his hair. Even Jimmy Fallon, who appears to be some kind of an ass-kissing quisling for Donald Trump, even he is still being targeted. You can't save yourself. ABC paid out $15 million.
Hey,
They're
Dickie.
still being targeted by Donald Trump. Come on. Anyway, what do you think? I invite you to this conversation. We can have it in the comments below the video, wherever you're watching it, be that on Facebook or on YouTube.
Hey, I gotta cut anyone who use Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe it's the Maybelline, baby. Ooh, wee.
This is Democracy Watch. Mark, there is a statement that Donald Trump put out that has caused a legal earthquake. So I'm going to put that right here on the screen. I'm going to read a little bit from it. Ham, I have reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially, same old story as last time, all talk, no action, nothing is being done. What about Comey, Adam Shifty Schiff, Letitia? And then he skips ahead and says, we can't delay any longer. It's killing our reputation and credibility. They impeached me twice and indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now. So, Mark, it very much seems like Donald Trump is just coming out and saying here that because these people sought justice against me for the crimes that I committed, and that juries found grounds to indict me for, that I need to exact political revenge against my political opponents, and that you, Pam Bondi, need to be the one to do it. And so, first and foremost, can you talk about the legality of this move, of this statement being put
Oh,
forward
here
by
we go
Trump?
again.
Yeah, look, this is worse than anything Richard Nixon did. I mean, this is
Worse than Richard Nixon?
To say it's unprecedented would
my God.
understate what unprecedented means. I
Yeah.
mean, because the president of the United States, seemingly in what was intended to be a
Epstein
private message,
gate.
posting on social media,
Trump
that
gate.
he wants the Attorney General of the United States to find a prosecutor, right? Because remember, this is in the context of having fired the Republican who he appointed in the Eastern District of Virginia, who then did not indict, chose to decline an indictment of Letitia James, got fired over that. And now there is an effort to put someone new in. And so you see in that post the name Lindsay Halligan, which is another lawyer that he now has said he wants put in place. But what he's telling Pam Bondi is find a prosecutor to prosecute these people. I have decided they're guilty. I don't care what the evidence is, that this is making us look bad, and we cannot delay any longer. And this is absolutely grounds for any indictment to be dismissed. I think it should be grounds, frankly, for any prosecutor who proceeds now to face disbarment. I think it should be grounds, frankly, for the House, if Democrats take control, to look at impeachment. I mean, this is so far beyond what is acceptable that I don't even have words for it. I'll say this though, one last thing. The legacy media is treating this like just another sort of blip in the ocean of blips with Donald Trump. I mean, could you just imagine for a moment if Joe Biden had suggested that, that the person who had accused Hunter Biden of something be criminally prosecuted? I mean, it would be a tidal wave of coverage, and yet you have to go hunting and pecking to find coverage of this. I was proud that Democracy Docket was among the first to have it up on the full story up on their website, and we will remain dogged at it.
And look, that underscores the need for fearless independent journalism like you have. So for anybody who's watching right now, especially in light of all of the failures at the hands of these legacy media outlets, do yourself a favor, do Mark a favor, and please go ahead and subscribe to Democracy Docket. I'm going to put the link right here on the screen and also in the post description of this video. This is a time at which we need to reward the people who are actually meeting this moment with the urgency that it deserves. Mark, it's worth asking here, as far as Pam Bondi is concerned, I'm going to throw a clip from her confirmation hearing right here on this screen.
And
Biden or no other president is a convicted felon coming into office, talking about law and order. So everybody, not everybody, you moving the goalposts, talking about something that Biden did, everybody else did. We talking about right now, today. Stay on topic, please.
It would not be appropriate for a prosecutor to start with a name and look for a crime. It's a prosecutor's job to start with a crime and look for a name, correct?
Hi, I'm Mark Elias, a lawyer for the Democrats, and I need your help to join me in standing up.
Prosecutor's job to start with a crime and look for a name, correct?
Senator, I think that is the whole problem with the weaponization that we have seen the last 4 years and what's been happening to Donald Trump. They targeted Donald Trump. They went after him, actually starting back in 2016. They targeted his campaign. They have launched countless investigations against him. That will not be the case if I am Attorney General. I will not politicize that office. I will not target people simply because of their political affiliation.
Oh, wow.
Justice will be administered even-handedly
Well, we
throughout
know
this
she lying.
country. Senator, we've got to bring this country back together. We've got to move forward, or we're going to lose our country.
So that was her being asked point blank about this very concept, about this idea of finding people and then creating, in retrospect, some pretext to be able to prosecute them afterwards. That's not how the justice system works. That you follow the evidence to the person and not the other way around. In light of the fact that she said one thing and now she's being ordered by Donald Trump to do another, and it very much looks like she's a willing participant in this scheme.
Right.
Is there any legal exposure that Pam Bondi shoulders?
Brian, Joseph Stalin's head of the secret police had a saying, "Show me the man, I'll show you the crime." And that is effectively what is going on.
No, Angel is crying. No, Angel is crying. It was Putin, from whom he owes everything to, because they are in debt to Putin. And Putin wanted and needed him in place to fulfill his mission and his journey. Okay? This is a Benjamin, whatever his name is, from Israel, the fake Israel, that he kissed the wall to. So as long as Donald Trump is kissing the wall over in that fake Israel, a lot of things were looked over because they're a part of the Epstein file. Okay? It's the Epstein file, the trafficking, and that's exactly where Epstein is. He is hiding over in the fake Israel, still trafficking kids. He got the little hat on his head with the Shirley Temple kissy curls with a fake beard on his face. Still trafficking now. Stay woke. He sure is. Angela's crying. He absolutely is. So now what? Never said he wasn't. He is in the files. We don't care about the left and the right. We care about the victims. You see the difference? You all up in the man's the crack of dawn where all that runny boo-boo come from. You still think it's about left and right. It's not about left and right. It's about right and wrong. Okay? It's about the victims. So Clinton's name is on it. Do you need for me to say it again? Clinton's name is in the files. Now what? We're not erasing no one's names that are in the file. Get it now? Get it, little Sally Walker? Get off the slow bus, baby. Get off the slow bus.
So when you ask whether Pam
This
Bondi
is
has
not
legal
about left and
exposure,
right.
let's break this down into pieces, right? There is what she told Congress and whether or not she was telling the truth at the time that she said it, right? She would say, I meant it when I said it and maybe I changed my mind, but like they're dubious, whether or not she ever meant it to begin with, right? So that's one.
Yeah,
The
they
second
stuck on
is,
left and right. We
I
talking about
assume a whole lot
victims.
of people in the Trump administration
We
are
talk about
banking on
child
the fact that
trafficking.
Donald Trump
She talking about
used
left and right.
term partners.
What president name is on there? We don't care.
You have a lot of people in this
We
chain,
want 'em
starting
all.
with Pam Bondi, but going on down, who are risking their bar licenses, are risking potential criminal prosecution for abusing the justice system. I mean, Donald Trump has immunity, thanks to the Supreme Court,
Absolutely a failure.
from crimes when in office. But that only applies to Donald Trump. And, people deciding to investigate, no less, investigate and indict, no less.
That's so funny to me. As if I was gonna have something to say about Clinton's name is on there. Like that was gonna make a difference. See how shallow-minded the people are who are for him. But Clinton's name is on the list. Yes, it is. How about that? Like anybody surprised? No, what she thought was that I was going to defend it or say that it wasn't. Like she does for Trump. She thought that I was going to do the same for Clinton. No, absolutely not. A predator is a predator. None of them get brownie points. Absolutely not one of them. Silly rabbit.
Innocent people because they are trying to help the president settle a political score.
Shallow-minded, girl. You better get out that coat.
That is very, very fraught territory. And so you would think that more of these folks would take the lead of what we saw in the Southern District of New York with the prosecutors who resigned there, rather than dismissing the Eric Adams case. Frankly, the lawyer in Virginia, the Republican who was nominated, who was either fired or resigned, rather than indict this case. But
shout out to him.
Just assumes that Pam Bondi
girl, I can't even listen to you no more. You simple-minded. Angela, stop. Bye. Bye. You simple-minded. Get off the little bus, okay? Elevate your thinking. Stop being a follower. Stop being a follower. Grow up. Grow up. Y'all say bye to Slow Bunny. Bye, Slow Bunny is crying. Bye, Slow Bunny crying. Yeah. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Do not drink the Kool-Aid. It's poison.
Insurance lawyers, slip and fall lawyers, and parking garage lawyers all around the country to see which of them want to be the chief federal prosecutor in Virginia on the condition
shout out to him.
That they indict Tish James. And that is an absolute outrage, and it should outrage everyone. It should outrage not just people who are Democrats. It should outrage not just people who care about rule of law. It should outrage Republicans. I mean, it should outrage anyone.
Everybody.
This is going on.
Absolutely.
Why do you think Republicans
My point
seem
exactly.
to care so little in the aftermath of clutching their pearls and having fainting spells when Bill Clinton, who wasn't even president at the time, met with Loretta Lynch on a tarmac more than a decade ago, and the separation between church and state of the presidency and the attorney general was apparently so sacrosanct that they lost their mind for months about it. Now
right,
you have Trump
but
issuing edicts publicly in broad daylight to Pam Bondi and telling her what to do, who to prosecute.
Let's say Israel threatened to sacrifice him. I just heard that. Let me see if I can get to it before I go. Yeah, I just heard that the threat was hold on, let me listen to it again. Hold on, y'all, because I just heard it and it made perfect sense to me. And I said that because I knew that there was a sacrifice. He was getting too close to the truth. And so his light bulb started coming on. And hold on, let me get to it because I got to get ready to go. Hold on. I think it's over here. Yeah, was it this one? Ted Cruz, you gotta watch him too. Hold on, I'm getting to it.
don't know who specifically came out and said that Bibi killed Charlie Kirk, but now that he's for the second time denying that he is, people are going, what's actually going on here?
Ted Cruz is good.
The Nazi propaganda minister said that the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous.
I'll put all questions on
Charlie
Super
Kirk
Chat and
was
Super
a
Sticker.
giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom.
Put all questions on
defended
Super
America,
Chats and
defended
Super
our
Stickers.
common Judeo-Christian civilization. Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said, is advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization. He encouraged me to make the case directly to the American people about how vital Israel is to U.S. national.
But sir, you are Poland. You're not an Israelite. You're from Poland. Your name is fake. Everything about you is fake. You're a con artist. What are you talking about? But let's keep listening.
National security. He told me, the Holy Land is so important to my life, it pains me to see support for Israel slip away. Now, if Charlie disagreed with a policy of mine or a decision here and there, not only did I not mind, I welcomed it. This is the essence of
They're trying to justify why it wasn't him who took him out.
Charlie stood for. And I knew that his suggestions always came from the heart, from his love for Israel and from his love for the Jewish people. A few weeks before his death,
put all questions on Super Chat, Super Sticker, Sharon. Could you not hear me?
And sadly,
that means you too.
That won't happen. Now some are peddling these disgusting rumors, perhaps out of obsession, perhaps with Qatari funding. What I do know is this: Charlie Kirk was a great man, and a great man deserves honor, not lies. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing.
I don't know, guys. That Israeli propaganda just ain't hitting the same. You're not making people feel comfortable with the fact that you keep coming out to have to deny something that certainly wasn't asserted by me on this program. And you're doubling down on your lie. I told you to publish the full letter that Charlie wrote you, not lines of it. I don't know. Okay? It's a lie by omission. And to stop mentioning the fact that you invited him to Israel just 2 weeks ago without mentioning the fact that he declined to go. Am I lying? Can anybody actually work and assert that I am lying? You can say my name. Candace Owens lied. Charlie said, I'd love to go to Israel. Charlie said, I'd love to have you on my radio show. They have sent the hounds out, but they're unable to actually dispute the words that are coming out of my mouth. I don't know who specifically came out and said that Bibi killed Charlie Kirk, but now that he's for the second time denying that he is, people are going, what's actually going on here?
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, said that the bigger the lie, the faster.
Okay, this is not the one I wanted, but good.
Somebody is fabricated.
Yeah, but you sure are. You sure are trying to cover your tracks. You sure are.
And from my sources, and I don't say this meanly, folks, I just can't lie to the audience. He can't handle the pressure. And instead of having Democrat operatives at his White House, he now has Israelis. And look, I'm the guy that always said China's the main issue, the EU, the globalists, BlackRock, because Israel controlled our foreign policy in the Middle East, but they weren't, from all my research, the dominant group, so I was just saying what I knew. But now,
the Israel that they are talking about, Nikki, is not the Israel in the Bible. This Israel that they're talking about was built by
Epstein, is Mossad, Maxwell's dad, all of them.
The Rothschilds in 1948.
Trump shut this down for that, and now he's pissed because the Democrats turned around, even though Trump made a deal and are bringing it up. And that's what he's doing, and he's walked into a trap. So now he's trying to kind of extricate. So it's a nightmare. And listen, my listeners want me to go on Trump. I don't do what my listeners want. I do what I think's best. But at this point,
Not the
I don't
same
even know
Israel.
what to do. Because my enemies want to put me in prison, and we know they're child molesters and want the border open. We know they're bad. And then now Trump's this big thing. And all I can say is Trump rode in on the populist wave, and populists went everywhere. So we should not put all our eggs in this basket. But I'm also trying to decide, okay, do I want the Democrats to win the House? Trump needs to indict them for Crossfire Hurricane. He needs to release the Epstein files. He needs to stop listening to the CIA, or he's doomed. I mean, I think that is clear to me.
No,
Like
I
you
mean,
said,
well,
you
maybe
don't shoot the
religion, but
king
not spiritual.
once
Not
in
a
this, and
spiritual
then
relationship.
barely survive. He's got a second shot.
Double
And
X
we've got to
done.
take them down.
No. Your spiritual with Christ is not about submission. It's about redemption. He said, I came to save the world, not condemn it. So it's not about submission. It's about redemption. That's the problem. No, Janet, it is not. And it was built on by the Rothschilds. We've covered that.
He's got to do that. And so I think it's existential. If Trump doesn't go to full war and actually do something, then by extension, he's given it to the bad guys. And so I think really, at the end of the day, it's all about action. Because America will forgive him for whatever this is if he backs away from it and indicts them for other things they've done that are cut and dry. But if they don't, but
He's
that's a whole
not,
other
because he's
discussion.
in.
Maybe we'll talk about what
He
Trump should
won't.
do, but also
He won't, because he's deeply involved. Hold on, I just heard this today. I should have marked it. Oh, I need to watch that.
Something kind of big just happened behind closed doors. Tim Cook, Jensen Huang, Sam Altman, and some of the wealthiest tech and finance billionaires in the world all just flew to the Windsor Castle to meet with Donald Trump and King Charles. And this wasn't just a fancy royal dinner, because what's unfolding here is a multi-hundred-billion-dollar play that could redefine who controls the future of AI, energy, and global powers. And here's exactly what's happening. The UK has just secured over $200 billion in investment pledges from US companies as part of this state visit. And in return, the two nations have signed a tech prosperity deal to deepen cooperation in areas like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and nuclear energy. So essentially, the deal is an exchange of cash for technology, and it seems like a win-win for both sides. Because for the US, it means American tech giants get a bigger foothold in Europe and billions in new contracts without relying on taxpayer money. And for the UK, it's about pulling in a record wave of American capital, creating thousands of jobs, and positioning London as a new hub for AI, clean energy, and
He over there selling us to the highest bidder, y'all. He's selling us to the highest bidder.
Peter Thiel, the FBI informant and CIA contractor, Elon Musk, the defense contractor and PayPal mafia member with Peter Thiel, close confidant of David Sachs, and J.D. Vance, who brokered the David Sachs fundraiser with Silicon Valley and Trump, mentored by Peter Thiel, mentored by David Frum, who worked for Bill Kristol with Tucker Carlson. Thiel, Musk, and Tucker lobbied Trump to pick Vance, and they said, if you don't, the CIA will kill you. Who's the CIA? Who does the CIA, NSA, FBI, DHS, who do they all contract with?
Who?
Palantir, founded by Peter Thiel and Alex Karp and Joe Lonsdale, Israel First Jews, that after October 7th flew their board to Israel and provided them with facial recognition technology to murder Palestinians. J.D. Vance, who upon becoming the VP nominee in his first interview said, we're going to bomb Iran, who went to the Quincy Institute and said, we need a pro-Israel spin on America first. Tucker, who interviewed Vance 46 times on his show.
Israel
Vance hired
first.
his son. Vance's Rockbridge network was the spawning point of 1789 Capital, founded by Rebecca Mercer and Claire Monster Chris Buskirk, which gave Tucker $15 million. Rebecca Mercer funded Steve Bannon at Breitbart that spawned Milo Yiannopoulos' career. And Rebecca Mercer hand-selected George Farmer, Candace Owens' husband, to run Parler in 2021. This is why they want me dead.
Oh, wow.
Who's the Fed? Who's the Fed here? Because I brought all the receipts. Peter Thiel, the FBI informant and CIA contractor. Elon Musk, the defense contractor.
So at one point, they was all in cahoots, including Candace Owens, including her.
We need to stop believing the myth.
Including her. At one point, she was all up in there
Have you ever
too.
had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
He pimping us out.
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my fifth.
He couldn't answer that one.
Sixth and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
If you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment?
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my fifth.
What you hiding?
14th Amendment rights.
Donald Trump
If you're
said.
innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a personal...
Let's see. What you running for?
Fuck Charlie Kirk! Fuck Charlie Kirk!
I'm not gonna do that.
Since Trump buried the Epstein files, let's open the Trump files. Trump was good friends with, and some would even say he was mentored by, a man named Roy Cohn. Multiple credible sources allege that Cohn ran sex parties with underage boys attended by
Boys.
including politicians,
Boys.
businessmen,
Oh,
and
wow.
Cohn happened
Not
to
boys.
be a lawyer and a political fixer who worked in tandem with J. Edgar Hoover for the FBI.
Boys?
Another friend of Roy Cohn's, who don't forget mentored Donald Trump, was Craig Spence, who operated the D.C. callboy ring with ties to the Reagan White House,
Boys.
intelligence operatives, and elite clients. Does that sound familiar to anybody? I think you can see where I'm going with that, so I'll circle back to Epstein after I talk about John G. Trump, Trump's uncle, who was a key figure in World War II radar development. He was a defense contractor, a Department of Defense contractor.
Boys and
in the
girls,
National Defense
boys and
Research Committee
girls.
and the MIT Rad Lab. John Trump was also the guy who got to look through all of Nikola Tesla's lab equipment and records. So it sounds to me like Trump's family is involved with intelligence and the military-industrial complex. There's also a Saudi billionaire named Adnan Khashoggi who became a billionaire by facilitating weapons deals during the Cold War, brokering international arms movements from country to country, and this guy Adnan Khashoggi just so happened to also play in the blackmail game. He had a yacht hooked up for audio visual
Please do so,
recording,
Dorian.
and Trump bought that yacht, which looks like yet another direct connection between Trump and CIA/Contra military affairs. Now let's circle back to Jeffrey Epstein. And we have all seen at this point a bunch of pictures of Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein, so I would like to focus more on Alexander Acosta and Alan Dershowitz, both of whom helped Jeffrey Epstein secure his plea deal back during the 2006 to 2008 agreement. But Alexander Acosta was then appointed to be the U.S. Secretary of Labor by Donald Trump in 2017, and Alan Dershowitz defended Trump in his legal trial of impeachment in 2020. And I would be remiss if I didn't at least mention the complicity involving Gaza and the close relations with Benjamin Netanyahu. So to recap, Donald Trump's mentor
not
was
on my
great
watch.
friends with the FBI director,
My
with
view.
boys and involved in the same circles as intelligence
Hello.
assets that like to throw lavish parties, as well as arms dealers and definite CIA assets. What else needs to be added to the Trump files? Since Trump buried the Epstein files,
Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot. Seems like it's been in the family a while. Let's hear this one before we go. Yeah, I don't like them when they do their music.
I knew Christ was a black man, but I kept preaching white Jesus because it kept the money coming.
They could.
We skipped Deuteronomy 28 on
They can't handle this.
If y'all knew who you were, school would lose control. They paid us to push murder music to your sons, then built prisons to catch the fallout. I knew your vote didn't matter. The real power ain't in ballots, it's in bloodlines. Ties was never about God. It was about control. We kept you loyal, broke, and blind. We trained to fear black men, even in neighborhoods they grew up in. It's not protection, it's war. They test medicine on y'all before they ever try it on them. Y'all the guinea pigs.
They told us to push college loans, not purpose. Keep y'all in debt, not destiny.
Y'all heard it from their own mouths. Religion, schools, cops, doctors, labels. But the truth, we the chosen, and we waking up now. I knew Christ was a black man, but I kept preaching white Jesus because it kept the money coming. We skipped Deuteronomy 28 on purpose. If y'all knew who you were, school would lose control. They paid us to push murder music to your sons, then built prisons to catch the fallout. I knew your vote didn't matter. The real power ain't in ballots, it's in bloodlines. Ties was never about God. It was about control. We kept you loyal, broke, and blind. We trained to fear black men, even in neighborhoods they grew up in. It's not protection, it's war. They test medicine on y'all before they ever try it on them. Y'all the guinea pigs.
They told us to push college loans, not purpose. Keep y'all in debt, not destiny.
Y'all heard it from their own mouths. Religion.
So why would Kirk be targeted? Well, Turning Points USA, the organization Kirk leads, wasn't just another conservative nonprofit. It was one of Israel's most powerful assets in America. It shaped millions of young conservatives into loyal Christian Zionists. Without it, Israel's U.S. lifeline would completely collapse. Now, according to the Gray Zone, pro-Israel billionaires tried to buy off Turning Points with a $150 million infusion.
That's what they said.
Pushed back. His support for Israel began to waver over this summer, echoing the shift we've been seeing across the entire MAGA base. We learned from Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson that Charlie was undergoing a spiritual awakening. He began to question Israel's policies, calling Netanyahu a bully and warning of ethnic cleansing in Gaza. He said he feared for his life. He invited guests critical of Israel onto his show and even warned Trump not to bomb Iran on Israel's behalf.
Facts.
At Turning Points USA's 2025 Student Action Summit just a couple of months ago, Kirk gave the stage to speakers who openly discussed Jeffrey Epstein's ties to Israel and Israel's role in the Gaza genocide. Kirk crossed a red line. So why would Kirk be targeted?
Y'all get it?
Turning Points USA, the organization Kirk
This is why
leads, wasn't just another conservative nonprofit.
BB.
It was one of Israel's most powerful assets
That's why
in
BB
America.
keeps
It shaped millions of young conservatives.
keeps
into
saying
loyal
that
Christian
he didn't have
Zionists.
anything to do with
Without
it.
Israel's U.S. lifeline would completely collapse. Now, according to the Gray Zone, pro-Israel billionaires tried to buy off Turning Points with a $150 million infusion, but Kirk pushed back. His support for Israel began to waver over this summer, echoing the shift we've been seeing across the entire MAGA base. We learned from Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson that Charlie was undergoing a spiritual awakening. He began to question Israel's policies, calling Netanyahu a bully and warning of ethnic cleansing in Gaza. He said he feared for his life.
Okay, y'all. I'm finna get ready to go. Y'all have a good night. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Hit the like button on the way out. Hit the like button on the way out.